Here we go. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We are getting started. It is 5:37 here on Thursday, October the 8th. And we are talking parent concerns, COVID and the classroom. Make a plan, work the plan. If you've never heard me say that, you're probably wondering, what does that mean? And I understand. But if you will, continue with me until we get to the end, then you will have a better understanding of what we're talking about. Being mad won't make the problem go away. It just won't. Being mad never makes the problem just go away. Neither will ranting on social media. Some of you may have tried it, but I want you to know that it does not make the problem go away. Anger without a plan of resolution forces one to respond physiologically, to fight, flee, or freeze. That is what happens when we believe that there is a dangerous, challenging, or traumatic situation facing us. When we are angry, we suffocate the possibility of clear thinking. Who are you fighting anyway? Who are you fighting and why? Is your fight creating friction that will produce the change you desire? Will your child, or other children for that matter, be happier, safer, or more successful as a result of your fight? Where are you going? Where are you going to flee? Who do you know that is going to do or is doing things just the way you believe they need to be done? And if they change their mind, where are you going to go then? How are you helping your children in this state or this function of inconsistency? Inconsistency. You're leaving one place, you're going to another place. You have this thought, but you don't stick to it. You have another thought, but you don't stick to it. Inconsistency. Are you helping your children? Now, let me tell you, if you freeze, and feel, because you feel that there is nothing that you can do at this time, then I say to you that your children will surely fail. Do you understand what I said to you? If you freeze, just because you do not believe that there is anything that you can do at this time, then your children will surely fail. There will be no forward progress. Everything will just stop. For you, for your children, and even your community. You're going to stop. You're going to freeze. You're going to give up and just sit back and become a burden to your community, a burden to those around you, instead of being a blessing. Think about that. So here's what's going to happen. School's opening. It's opening for all of the children in this area for sure. I know that there are some areas where school is not opening right now, but it's still going to open. And what's happening, the changes that have occurred in our lives, they're still going to be here. So know this, not only is school opening or has opened or will open, but at this time, if your children are going back to school, you've decided that your children are going back to school, they will be asked to wear a mask, as well as adhere to the CDC requirements. They're going to have to be 6 feet apart. Their desks, some desks have the shields around them. Some people are spaced out well enough. There are a lot of changes that your children will experience upon returning to school. I want you to know that there is change that they are going to experience upon returning. But also, virtual school will continue. If you decide to keep your children at home learning virtually, that's fine. But what I do want you to know is that it's going to be a little bit different, especially for those who have children especially for those schools where the children are at school and some are at home. I want you to know that the teachers in schools will do their best, the very best that they can in this current situation. They're making plans that will include all of the children. So the teachers know this, that the teachers and the schools, they are going to do their very best at this time for this current situation. Will you? Remember, make a plan, work the plan. The way your children see you deal with change will determine how they respond to this change. I'm going to say it again because that is so important. Mom, dad, grandma, auntie, whoever the caregiver is, the parent, the way your children see you deal with change will determine how they respond to this change or these changes, the things that are happening around them, whether they go back to school or they stay home. Because I tell you this, that if your children remain virtual, that they're going to see the other children at school. But they have to have an understanding that this is a decision that has been made in your household. Keep that in mind because they are children. That is not an effort to sway you, I promise. I just want you to hold on to that. Again, your children see you deal with change will determine how they respond to this change. Now think about this, okay? Just take a moment. And I want you to just know that because the school system isn't fulfilling your expectations, that does not confirm nor deny. It doesn't mean that you are right, neither does it mean that you are wrong. Okay? It just means that a group of people got together and they agreed to do something different. Different than you. Doesn't mean that your thoughts were right. Doesn't mean that your thoughts were wrong. If they do it the way you said so, does that mean you were right? If they don't do it the way you said so, does that mean that you were wrong or that they're wrong? It's new territory. Understand that. All that happened was that other people got together and they agreed to do things differently. Hold on to that. Now, what I want you to know and what I want to encourage you to do, parents, is to manage your emotions, especially in the presence of your children. I'm going to venture to say this. Yes, home is a safe place or should be a safe place for many people, but your children are not necessarily a safe place It's safe to be around them, but is it safe to share all up to, not share, safe for your emotions to kind of explode? That's better. Is it safe for you to explode your emotions? So I want to encourage you to please manage your emotions. And that even goes, not when I say explode, it could look like fussing and cussing on the telephone, talking to friends or relatives, people who think like you, people who don't think like you, saying things about the school that they're going to be going back to, or teachers or administrators or city officials, people who they may or may not come in contact with, but as they grow up, it will be important for them to respond to these people, to have relationships with these people. So I encourage you to manage your emotions. Now, there are going to be times throughout all of these changes that you are going to notice that your body temperature is increasing. It may even begin to tremble. Trembling that occurs when you become angry. Sometimes tears may even well up in your eyes. But I want to encourage you. I want you to take a breath, take a seat, and take a moment just to be quiet. I'll say it again. Take a breath, take a seat, take a moment to just be quiet. I believe this is a reference to in mindfulness as calming your amygdala. I'll say again, take a breath. You might even say it with me. Take a breath, take a seat, take a moment to be quiet. But I tell you, after you have calmed yourself, it is okay to express or to share your feelings. That's okay. Sometimes you might have to say it to the people around you or just out loud or just for yourself. Maybe even you write it. It's okay to express, I am angry. I am frustrated. This is causing me stress. It is okay to say that. Get it out. Don't leave it inside. Get it out. Write it on paper. But if you are calmer when you say these things, this will help the people around you, your children, to not have to have an experience, a traumatic type of an experience because you were angry, sad, or frustrated. It's okay to say it. It's how you say it. You can explain, my emotions are not right or wrong, okay? Make sure you tell them, let them know, these are my emotions. This is how I feel. And people around you, because they love you, normally the people around you, when you have these experiences or express these emotions around these safe people or people who trust you or who you trust, they will accept that this is how you feel. They may or may not agree with you, but they are going to recognize and acknowledge, because you have acknowledged that this is how you feel. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just how you feel. And if you say that to your children and then follow it up with a statement, especially during this time as people are going back to school, you want to let them know, yes, this is how I feel. However, it is very important that we follow the expectations that have been set for everyone. Everyone, you're going back to school with all of the other children, then you will have to fulfill the expectations. If they say get in line 6 feet apart, you got to be in line 6 feet apart. If they say you got to wear the mask, you got to wear the mask. You have to eat lunch in your classroom, you're eating lunch in your classroom. Clean up your mess. You are responsible for that. Let them know it, because if you say it is so, then mom, dad, grandma, auntie, cousin, they will believe that it is so. They have a trust in you. You are the parent. You are the one that leads. They are to follow the way that you lead them. Your example is how they should follow you. What kind of example are you giving them? If you say it is so that they have to follow those expectations, then they will believe it and then they will do it. We want them to make it through through this change with mental wellness, not mental illness. Okay. So just briefly, I'd like to tell you that I am a classroom teacher who is the founder and executive director of Education Inside Out, where we are bridging the gap, between home and school by empowering parents and teachers to properly impact the lives of children by building better relationships, establishing consistency, and maintaining control at home and at school. You all, I do all of those things, but know that when we went home in March, it was actually about my vacation time, but I still had to work. I prepare students to work from home while learning how to effectively teach them from home all at the same time, okay? My plan had been to work exclusively on growing my organization and helping my current clients. The pandemic forced my plans to change too. Understand that. My plans had to change too. So even I had to just sit back and take that moment. I had to take that breath and reassess my next steps, all while teaching my students and their parents, all while helping my clients figure it all out and help them to figure out how to keep moving themselves. After lots of meetings, several training sessions, and many, many phone calls, I am still moving forward. And I am so excited that I can say that I took my own advice and still here I am. Let me encourage you. We will survive this change together, but only if we decide to understand and be considerate of one another. I'll say it to you again. We will survive this change together if we decide to understand and be considerate of one another. Now that you are calm and thinking clearly, you can focus. As you sit with your own thoughts, you can start the process to make a plan and work the plan. Say to yourself, this change, I don't like it, but we all must endure it. Go ahead, say it to yourself, say it. This change, I don't like it, but we all must endure it. I heard you say it, I did. It's like you all were sitting right there. Now, I want to suggest to you that as you ask yourself, how can I prepare my children for this change? And I know you're asking yourself now, how can I? I want to encourage you to make a plan, work the plan. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something. If you're able to take something with you, and if you didn't get enough from me, we're going to go forward now, and you're going to have the opportunity to hear from our panelists. We have with us today Ms. Kamika Sidbury, and I'll let her tell a little bit about herself She is a teacher and parent. So she's a part of that parent-teacher organization, Parent-Teacher Association. We have Miss Kelly Sechrist, who is also a parent. And I guess we'll go with, she works in the nonprofit world, which is where I met her. Miss Jacqueline Daniels, who is a parent and an active member of Education Inside Out. And Miss Stephanie Walker. Miss Stephanie Walker is currently a candidate for school board in New Hanover County. So we're excited to have all of them with us today. So I'm going to stop sharing just for now. And we are going to go to our panelists. And if our panelists will unmute themselves and open up their cameras so that we can begin this conversation. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Kelly. How are you? How are you? Hello, Kamika. And Jackie is coming on in. You probably see Miss Bobby Overby, who is my assistant, and I'm so happy to have her here. She's managing things behind the scenes for us. Thank you, ladies, for agreeing to join me. I need to open up some sound. Oh, I can't open up the sound. I cannot. I will hear myself twice, and I think it's going to drive me bonkers, but I'm going to let you all talk. So go ahead, and we have a little bit of time to have this conversation. And what I want you all to talk about, as parents especially, I want you to talk about your decision to send your children back to school or not. What were your thoughts? How did you come to your decision? I want to know, what are your plans as you move forward? What do you know? What do you think you know? And did that help you to make, to come to your conclusion on, yes, I'm sending them back, or no, I'm not sending them back? And Stephanie, I know Stephanie has adult children. So she's gone through this, not this, because none of us have gone through this. And so with that, we're gonna let Stephanie talk about it from the perspective of the administrative side, the school side, the community side. Even though everybody's active in the community, that's where Stephanie's going to come in and share with us. So I know I had actually had a conversation with Jackie, or Jacqueline Daniels, Jackie Daniels, Jackie D of Jackie D and B. We've done podcasts together. So I want her to share, because actually when I followed up with her, her decision changed a little bit. So I need to hear from her if she'll go ahead and share with us. Jackie, share with us. So I want her to share, because actually when I followed up with her, her decision changed a little bit. So I need to hear from her.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jackie.
So my decision did change. First of all, I'm Jackie. Don't call me Jacqueline. My mama calls me that when I'm in trouble. I am a single parent of 3. I have 2 daughters in high school and a son that's in the 4th grade. And I also now work from home, and I'm also a student. I'm 4 classes away from finishing my BA in applied behavioral science. And I do all of that from home. So initially I was just not okay. Like, no, my kids are staying home. We're not going out. We are staying home. Just because it's scary. Like, this is something that we can't control. And, as parents, our job is to protect our children. So my first thought is, no, they're staying home. I'm protecting my kids. As I talked to my therapist and I talked to their therapist, and like my kids are all different. I have an introvert and I have 2 extroverts. And my high schoolers, they are suffering academically. They have full loads of honors classes, and it's virtually almost impossible for me to give everybody what they need in here. And that's what I was struggling with. Like, I'm used to being able to do it all. Like, I'm super mom. I can do it all. I can't do it all. I cannot do my work, their work, make sure everybody get everything done. I just can't. And then there's the social aspect of it. They need a schedule. Kids thrive on a schedule. And my kids, since birth, they've been on a schedule. They've gone to bed at a certain time. They've eaten lunch. The schedule. Not having a schedule has really thrown us off. And I really feel like they have to get back into the swing of it. And I'm a little nervous about like the mental aspect of it, not getting out and seeing friends, not having that time out, not getting enough sun, just everything that comes with actually being out in the world, because we were created to be amongst each other. So my decision was solely based off of that. They were ready to go back, like, yay, let's go back to school. And I was like, no, you're not going. And I literally changed my mind like maybe a week after I had talked to Takesha about this. It was hilarious because when I told her yesterday, she was like, wait, what? So, but I'm still nervous and I'm still afraid, and I've made a plan, and they're going back with everybody. We talked about COVID, how it works, what they need to do to protect themselves. If something happens and they have to revert back to being home, then we'll go from there. But right now, the plan is to go to school, to wear your mask, to use your hand sanitizer, to stay away from your, 6 feet away, and abide by whatever rules are set. And they know the seriousness of COVID. We've had family members that have been affected by it. So I think we're going to be okay with the plan. But if the plan has to change, then we'll change it. We'll deal with that when it comes. So that is it for me. But like I said, a lot of words, y'all. I'm sorry.
All right. Can you all hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Very good. Very good. So go ahead. Thank you so much for sharing, Jackie D. Anybody else can jump in and tag in on if you want to tag in on what she said or share your thoughts. And I don't have a preference on who goes next. Just go ahead and share.
I'll go ahead and kind of piggyback off of what Jackie said, because we've had some similar sort of back and forth trying to figure out what's best for my kids. So I have a college student who is a junior in college. I have a senior who attends one high school and a sophomore who attends a different high school. And so we've had some different experiences about, around how school is done. I will say this, I'm a former educator. That's what my training, my background is in. So I taught middle school. And if you had asked me 6 months ago if I was okay with my children learning from home, I would have said unequivocally, absolutely not. Do not make them learn from home. I cannot handle that. I cannot manage that. And actually what I've found is there really are some really blessings in that. I mean, I feel like a lot of what we did sort of the before and after COVID, we were so busy before COVID. We were running from activity to activity, and somebody had to be at tennis and somebody had to be at school for this and somebody had to be at this activity. So it's interesting because even though it's traumatic, we kind of were able to take a breath as a family and reassess how things look in our lives. It's not perfect, and we are starting to sort of ramp back up and things are getting more busy, but we are able to really look more critically at, hey, is that extra dance at dance this year really worth the time it's going to take you, and the extra night there, is that your priority? Is that what you want to do? So I think that's something that's really important to talk about when we look at this time and however long the COVID stuff lasts. It's really trying to find the as you said before, I mean, I kind of wanted to say amen about 50 times when you were going through your slides, Takesha, because I was like, oh, thank you. This is so refreshing to be reminded that a lot of this can be a blessing based on how I react, how my husband reacts. We can really influence how our children react. So my senior in high school has ADHD. He has 504 plan, and he always pulls it out, but man, we struggle right up to the last minute. We're running on the edge of a B or a C, and he pulls it out. We haven't seen that with this type of setting, with him being home, because I think we've cut down on so much transition. He's not going back and forth between classes. He's not distracted by all the things. Although if you saw his bedroom, you probably would think it was all the things. It is not very clean, but I think that it's been super successful for him. So I really wanted to include him in the decision about whether he would return to the classroom or not. And honestly, he's almost 18. We felt like that was really, needed to be pretty much made the decision by him with the support by us. And he has decided that he wants to go back the 2 days a week. And we're going to see how it works. We had his 504 meeting on Zoom the other day and to update the accommodations. And, we talked about that with his teachers to say, we're going to try this. If there's too many transitions between I'm learning from home these days and Wednesday's schedule is totally different. And then I'm going between classes on these days. I'm sort of stressed out because I forgot my mask and all the things that go along with, we call it ADHD life around here. So we're going to kind of assess where we are with that. My daughter, on the other hand, attends Isaac Bayer at the university, and they kind of from the beginning, because it's such a smaller group of kids, I think they were able to do this. They've really been able to keep almost a normal schedule from March on. So they've been on Zoom. And they're also a one-to-one school, which means they have computers. So they were set to do this from the beginning. So there were a lot of advantages there that we don't have at Laney or New Hanover or Hoggard or Ashley or wherever your child may attend high school in a larger high school. So she's really had kind of the experience of being in class, being with her teachers more consistently than Cohen has, but she's ready to go back. She's tired of being on Zoom. She's like, Mama, and she's an extrovert. I have two in one also. Jackie had 2 extroverts and an introvert. And she's for sure needs some of that some of that interaction with friends and interaction with teachers and folks in her life. So anyway, that's kind of where we are with it.
Hey, might add something. I apologize. I've got a forum at 6:30, but I love this discussion, and I just want to say thank you very much for inviting me so I can listen. That's one of the things that I hope to, should I get on the board, be able to listen to parents a lot more. I mean, I come to the discussion from a parent point of view too, and my kids were 2 different kids too. I have an Asperger's kid, and I have a what I call her my overachiever kid, who is taking all the hard classes. So I had to advocate for a lot of different ways. And I just want to say, I love listening to the parents. I know it's hard for everybody. Everybody's having a hard time. My children both are in college now. And they are doing the same sorts of thing. I'm one that's probably more of an extrovert, and one that just is so happy to do Zoom all the time. But it does get to a point where it gets to a point where I know at least my Asperger's son has started to feel the stress of, the moment of time that we're experiencing right now during COVID. And it's a good thing that Takesha's here with resources to help parents. Because when I was advocating for my kids in this public school system here, I had a hard time. I had a very hard time. I didn't have anybody to help me advocate for him. And if I'd had somebody like her that was around to be a calming voice, like I was listening to her speak and I was feeling like I was getting tired. I was like, wow, she's got that meditative voice, and she's all about keeping it calm. And that's what we have to do. We can't lose it's tempting to lose our cool a lot of the time and feel like, oh, I don't like what's happening, but she's right. We are going to get through this. Might be hard now and then, but we really have to think about what we can do as parents, because they're looking at us and they're looking to us to be how should I respond sometimes? And if we can, I had a troubled childhood. So like resiliency is a big thing for me. And that's one of my platforms in my candidacy, that we really have to teach ourselves, but also our children, what resiliency is all about, because we will get through this, and hopefully we'll come out of it. We'll be different, but maybe in some ways we'll be better. Some ways we'll be like, wow, I'm glad that's over. But I just want to mention, I love listening to you guys, and I really hope to continue doing that. And should I be, I still do it even after I'm not on, even if I don't get elected. But I really appreciate the resources she's providing for this. This is a really good discussion. So thank you.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Kamika, and as Takesha already said, I am a teacher parent. So I currently come from this in multiple lenses. I have a son in college. He is a student at North Carolina A&T State University, also where I'm an alumni. I am currently a student at UNCW working on my MSA add-on licensure. And I work at Cape Fear in the adult high school program, as well as working at DC Virgo as a 6th grade middle school teacher. So I have multiple lenses. I have a 12-year-old who is a student at DC Virgo, and I have a 19-year-old who is in the reserves, and he is living his best life, I guess. You know how 19-year-olds are. But as I will tell anybody, COVID actually saved my life and my family's life, as far as it allowed me to build a better relationship with my children who were in the house with me for over 15 years. And especially with my sons, because I was so busy doing so many other roles that I forgot about my children. And I'm not saying it in the sense like, yeah, I fed them and I clothed them and I made sure they had everything. But as far as me having to take the time to get to know my children again, that is one of the biggest things that I have learned. And so I said it was a big lesson. And I hate that all of the bad things that happen with it. But as far as me personally being a parent, it actually saved the relationship I had with my children, and I got to know them again, and to let them know that I'm always be there for them, and to really filter out what was important and what was not important. I made the decision to send my daughter back to school. Why? Because I'm a teacher at the school. So I know all the protocols that we've been through to actually put in place. I know her teachers. She is actually there with me now in a separate setting while I'm teaching virtually, because just like right now, my internet, I don't know what's going on in this community, but it's not as efficient some days, but it is doing okay right now. So if I wasn't comfortable in my surroundings, and I'm asking my parents to send their students, how can I not bring my child into the setting I'm asking my own parents to send their children to? And everybody has the ability to make the decision based on their family and what they know their needs are. And so I think when, as a teacher, but especially as a parent, we know that we have that right, nobody can go against us. But from a teacher point of view, I know that I have to support my parents, whether the children are in the classroom or at home. And so that is one of the biggest things that we're looking at, is equitable practices. How do I ensure that my students who are virtual are getting the same amount of instruction, adequate, rigorous instruction, as my students in my classroom? And I want that for my child. I'm comfortable with her teachers. I know her teachers. So that just makes it so much better. And so that's just really all I have to, and my plan is, my child is 12. She is going through adolescent. And so she is going against Rage Against the Machine some days, and some days she is the sweetest little girl you'll ever meet. But it is... Who's that? Quiet son. He's 19. He's disruptive. And so it is that I think as parents, we don't judge. We can't judge one another. We're not perfect, and we shouldn't think that we should be, but we should just always make sure that we are doing the best or making the best decisions for our children. The best decisions for our children.
Thank you. Thank you. You all are so amazing. So amazing. I want to thank you for sharing. You all you touched everything. And thank you. You all are so amazing. I'm a little frustrated just because I hear all of the talking. I have to make it stop. For sharing. I'm going to share this again. I've discovered that apparently I did something that I shouldn't have done. And that is I stopped recording by the time you all started sharing. But what I want to do is I want to thank you all. Thank you, Kamika, Kelly, Jackie. I should have gone in and changed it. And Stephanie, you all have been so helpful. You shared some amazing, amazing information. So parents, what I want you to know is that it's okay. It's okay for you to make the decision that you make. You shouldn't be vilified. If you've been vilified, tell them to call me, okay? Tell them Takesha Michelle said for you to call her to discuss that with her, because this is my decision. Now, I hope that you made your decision based off of some of the very things that some of these moms made their decisions off of. Your decision, and I've said this before, should not be made because of what somebody said on social media. Your decision should not be made based off of what your cousin is going to do. Your decision should be made because you examined everything around you and you made the best possible decision for you and your family. And I want to celebrate you because during this time, it is a challenge. It is a great challenge to have to make such a decision. So I want to encourage you to make a plan and work the plan. And if in fact you come to a time and you just don't know what to do or how to do it, I want you to contact me or contact us, because Bobby is going to be the person who's going to talk to you and help you get connected. So thank you for joining us. And I ask that you leave your comments on YouTube at Takesha Michelle, EDU Inside Out, under this particular video, on Facebook under Education Inside Out. And you can also visit us at www.eduinsideout.org. That's www.eduinsideout.org. And the number to call to set up an appointment, because you can also set up an appointment online. But if you want to talk to someone and you want to set up an appointment and explain to us what it is that you need, or you think that we can best suit your needs at your school, you can give us a call at 910-541-4121. Again, I am Takesha Michelle of Education Inside Out, and I am so excited that you took the time to join us today, tonight, to just hear all of our suggestions, all of our thoughts. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for being with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kelly, I appreciate you for stopping by. And Jackie D apparently had somewhere to be, or the internet happened, which is what's been happening all over the place. And Kamika, thank you so much. Kamika's a part of the community pillar at DC Virgo. And so there's a lot going on. So if you all want to have something to do and participate with that, we would be so, so grateful. Thank you all for being with us tonight. Tell your friends, check it out, share the link, and we'll look forward to talking to you all again really, really soon. I am Takesha Michelle of Education Inside Out. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.